Hey friends, how are you? I hope that you are thriving and vibing. Let's have a look at what your guides, what your higher self wants to have a yap about today. Let's see what the vibe is. What's the lowdown? What's the... Yeah. Okay. Look, yeah, there was a bit of an energy before I came to sit down to do this. And I feel like there are some big new changes coming in towards you. And I feel like it's coming in towards you, but you're also moving towards it. That's what I feel. I feel like you're making this intentional move towards new ground, new places to exist, to thrive, Like I really do see you wanting to move on to new places. There has and is, with this Three of Swords, we have the Three of Wands, Three of Swords, and the Hermit. With this Three of Swords, there's a hurt. There's grief. There's grief sitting here. And then we have the Hermit here as well. We're going to dig into each of these energies, but I do see you making a home within yourself and spending a lot of time alone as well. So let's dig in. Let's have a look. Let's look at first and foremost at the Three of Swords. Let's not try and work our way around a grief situation or a painful thing. Let's sit with that. Universe, please, insight and information. Two of Pentacles, Eight of Wands, Five of Cups. I do feel like there is this tendency to want to distract away from this feeling and to stay busy with other pursuits, and you might actually find that in your effort to be distracted, you have overloaded your plate with things so that you don't have to deal with feeling the grief as much. But you can your world isn't going to fall apart if you just let yourself feel the sadness, if you let yourself feel the loss. You might feel like that. You might feel like you have to constantly be performing or operating or showing up. And you can only show up if you're okay, So it's really, really important for you to just sit with I want to say loss, but it feels more like there's a void. It feels like a person, a place, a space that you might have poured into that doesn't give you the happy ending that you wanted. That doesn't mean that you can't have a happy ending for yourself. But yeah. Again, I feel like I don't even feel called to speak on that more because I feel like it's just sitting with that feeling, sitting with the finality of that and giving that feeling space, not trying to make it okay, not trying to alchemize it, not trying to transform it into anything other than the feeling of loss. Hope that you're doing okay and being very, very kind to yourself. Let's have a look at this Hermit energy here. Universe, please, insight and information. What can you tell us about this Hermit energy? You are very good at transforming your pain into something beautiful and having it turn you into someone extremely wise, extremely compassionate, extremely empathetic. This is just another situation in which your wisdom is growing. Magician, Ace of Swords, you will be, the alchemization of this situation is going to happen. But I think that what's being asked of you is not to force that to happen. Don't rush that. Don't pressure that process. I think that you sitting with grief or loss or hurt, like really, really, really sitting in it and not having to transform it into anything just for a moment is actually, that's the practice that you need to learn right now. Because you might feel like you're constantly pivoting things into something positive or productive, and that's good. You're great. You're amazing at that. You're amazing at that. But what you're not good at is sitting with grief. What you're not good at is sitting with a situation that you can't change. Because I feel like you're the kind that's going to get in there and like change it and like make it into something great, beautiful, amazing. You're going to pivot it. You're going to realign it into something that is productive and positive. And sometimes we can't do that. Sometimes things are out of our control. And you learning how to sit with that and not just like find a way to kind of navigate it and turn it into something positive. Sometimes it's not something positive. Sometimes it'll be something positive, in a month, in 2 months, when something comes to fill the void that this relationship or this place or this job or this, circle of friends like left. But like if there is a void in your life, just let it be a void and just let it hurt. Because if you don't let it hurt, this came up in the readings before, you don't let this be felt, it's gonna stay in there. And I don't want y'all to be sitting with grief forever. I want you to be able to move through it. Aww. We have the Star and the Page of Pentacles. You know you have brighter days ahead. And just because you are this like beautiful, transformative, heart of gold, star energy, right? Doesn't mean that you always have to be that. Like, don't make this iteration of you like this like weird standard that you're holding yourself to. Because I feel like that's where the pressure of like alchemizing the bad and turning it into something good, it comes from. It's like, no, this is the person that I am. And so this is what I do. And so sometimes if you feel like you can't do that, maybe you might feel like you're failing at being yourself. You're failing at being the thing that, and then it's like, who am I? But I think that like this energy of yours is inherent. It's not a standard that you have to work towards. This alchemical process and drive within you to, make something beautiful out of something disastrous potentially. That would be happening whether or not you're trying to make the effort to do it. Because I feel like you are able to do it, and it's not an effort. It's just the way your brain, your body, your spirit works. And it works hard, and it's a conscious part of your processing, but it doesn't necessarily, just because you can feel the effort of it doesn't mean that you're having to put in effort. This is literally your personality. This is literally who you are. So you aren't failing at being yourself just because this instance it looks a little different. There's more to learn here. Oh, yes, said that in the last reading as well. There's always more to learn. There's always more to learn. There are really bright days ahead, but I feel like you haven't let enough of your... Yeah, I think you've been holding yourself to that standard. And who you are is not a standard. You are not failing at being yourself. Even you sitting with grief and sitting with loss is still being yourself. Maybe it's a version of you that you have not acknowledged enough, and maybe it's a part of you that you haven't given enough space to. And the next evolution and iteration of you is even brighter, even more wise and compassionate, because you also know how to sit with your grief. You know what that feels like, and you can also help people through their stages of grief because you know how to sit with grief. You know how to sit with loss. You know how to sit with a situation that can't be changed. I know you're already out there helping people change a circumstance that they can change. You alchemical little star, you. I know that you do that. You know that you do that. Take a situation and like change the energy, change the vibe, change the outcome. That's what you do. You just go around impacting lives left, right, and center because you know how much choice, decision, and intention and discipline goes into that, into creating your reality. Sometimes things are outside of your control. And I feel like that's something that you're not as comfortable with, is just sitting with an outcome that was out of your control. And I think that it's very important for you to learn that in this stage of your life, because this is going to come up more. There's going to be situations where you can't change the outcome, or you're going to be with someone in a situation where they cannot change the outcome, and they just need to sit with that grief. And you're going to need to be there for them, understanding how to sit with them. And if you want to do that, then you have to learn how to sit with yourself and your grief, which maybe you have not been doing, and you've been like finding a way around it. I think it's time to not do that. Let's look at the Three of Wands. What time are we at? I've got work soon, so I'm just being a little time conscious. Three of Wands. Universe, please, insight and information. Tell me. Tell us. What do we need to know about this Three of Wands energy? Yeah. Yeah, it really feels like there was something, like a history. It could be multiple different things that you're really having to let go of. We have the Four of Wands, we have the Death. We have the Wheel of Fortune and the King of Swords. Yeah, it feels like there's like a plan, or like there was conscious and subconscious versions of your future that you had in mind that were going to play out. And I think that those changed, or those paths erased entirely. You thought that you'd be in this person's life forever, and you thought you were going to work at this job or be with this person. That's just changed. It's like this Wheel of Fortune, yeah? It's like you're standing on a disc, on literally like this wheel, and it's pointing in a certain direction, and you feel like that's the way I'm going to go, and the universe just came up and spun the disc, and you spin, and now you're like looking in an entirely different direction. I think that like the big thing is let yourself sit in a moment of like, okay, I don't have to just rebuild, and I don't just have to move forward with that intention. Like, you're always going to be looking towards the future and building and growing. That's innate within you. I think that it is okay for you to look back at everything that you invested time and energy, love into, and realize that wasn't going to build anything further up until the point that it did, you know? Like that wasn't building towards anything more. What it built towards has now closed. And that can leave you feeling relieved. That can leave you feeling unresolved. It can be a lot of really good and really bad feelings at the same time. But like, let yourself just feel that without some internal monologue of how you're going to grow and expand, and everything that's coming next is going to be even more in alignment. Like, yes, these things are true. That's true. I know you know that's true. We know it's true. But like, don't force that into your mind just yet. Just let it be sad. There is a really, 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 really strong version of you. Just that there's a whole nother evolution of you coming. Like, oh, I wish you knew. I wish you knew. And they look radically different from anything that you ever thought that you would be. But this process is important. Like you think you're grounded now, babe. Oof. You think you're compassionate now. You think you have empathy now. Like, this is growing you in ways you just didn't think you would. It just didn't occur to you to expand in this way, which is wild. I feel like, so I was listening to one of my readings this morning from like 2 years ago. I think it was like Season of the Rebrand or something. And it is wild. I used to do like really big downloads. I used to like sit and meditate and get like download messages and say those at the start of the readings. I don't really do that now. It's just like pulling cards. Maybe I should. But it's wild how like that reading was like saying something to future me. And it was like, your walk is changing and your voice is changing, which is crazy because my voice is changing. I've been learning how to metal scream over the last couple months, and that changes my voice. Like, I know I've got more vocal fry. Nothing hurts. It's all safe, and it's so fun. It's so cool that I'm doing things I never thought I would do. But when I say things like that in the reading, I'm like, is there a version of me in 2 years that like comes back to this reading and is like, oh my God? It is a wild thing that I feel like my future self goes back and talks to my past self and gives them downloads for my future self. Oh my God. Crazy. Let's get some oracle cards. Let's get this going before my next student rocks up. Okay. We have call your energy back to you. Energy, aura, power depletion. Sometimes when we can't control a situation, we like to like hope for a different potential outcome. And even that is like shooting your energy off and away from you. But if you bring it back and be like, wait, no, I can't control this. I can't keep the door open hoping for this story to play out differently than it has. I need to just sit with the reality of how things are, the loss that is present, the grief that is present. Call that energy back to you. You'll actually find yourself being more energetic. You might think that like wishing and hoping and like ruminating isn't really like a bad thing necessarily. And it's, you know, a lot of times it can be productive, but it is sending your energy away and it is like using it up. Bring it back. Break the chain. Ancestral patterns, healing, rewriting the future. We have this idea of like, you know, conscious or subconscious ideas of how future relationships and things like that are going to play out. And we can mourn something being lost. Yeah. But when you're done with that, let yourself be open to the opportunity of like, not that maybe someone or something or someplace isn't going to be in your life anymore in the way that you kind of hope that they always would be, but just like absolutely regardless of that people, that person, that place, like what else could your future look like? What other beautiful things could be there? You're in that process now of rewriting that and getting out of weird cycles. We've been talking about this idea of learning lessons. Like, I know you're tired. Every time the idea of learning lessons comes up, you're like, I can feel your energy is like, stop. Then stop learning the lesson. Learn the lesson already. Learn the lesson already, and you won't have to keep going through it. So we got to act different. And you sitting with something that you can't change, acknowledging that it's something that you can't change, and just letting it be. choosing a different path. That is how you rewrite the future. That is how you break a chain. That is how you get out of the toxic cycle. Sometimes we sideline grief with something like hope. Hope that something will change. I think that can keep us like trapped in a cycle that, you know, you don't deserve. You have earned this lesson, okay? So have learned it, okay? And be done. Okay. I feel like I came in real kind and sweet and nice, but also this was like some very much calling y'all out on your BS-ness. I hope you're being gentle with yourself. I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. You're doing so well. Thank you so much for letting me be in this energy. I will see you in the next reading.